So Father's Day is next week, and I'm not looking forward to it very much. As someone who had a dad who wasn't very, let's just say, a great person, it kind of hurts to walk around and see all this stuff celebrating all the dads and stuff. Yeah, I currently work at Walmart right now, so when I'm walking around, they have all like the Father's Day stuff all set out and everything, and like I get it, man. I understand, right? Because they're trying to make their bag or whatever, right? But I had a relationship with my dad for the last 10 years, and he passed away in February. So even when we were had even when we had a relationship, it wasn't great. It wasn't great as a kid. It wasn't great past then either, But yeah, it really sucks to just walk around and see everything. And I feel like if you had a good dad growing up, that you might not relate to this video, but maybe it'd be cool to get a different perspective. Having a, I hate even saying it, but it's true. Having a bad dad, man, it really sucks. It's something I don't even like to say because I don't want people to feel sorry for me. But it's true. I mean, it's a real thing, man. It's why I'm such a big mental health advocate, especially for men. I have the Happiness Project a hat on right now. Shout out to that brand, man. Love them. Not sponsored or anything, obviously. And my boy, shout out to you if you ever watch this video, Ivan. My boy Ivan has a brand called Fuck Anxiety from his brother who started it, who unfortunately took his own life. And I thought it was pretty fitting for this video. Yeah, I don't really. When I started this channel, I just told myself I was gonna talk about whatever was on my mind, and with Father's Day being next Sunday, this has really been on my mind all day today. I was kind of in my bag at work a little bit. I can't even lie to you. Walking around and seeing it because it starts to hit me all at once. But I figured posting this video, maybe somebody could relate to it. I already have 4 other videos lined up, ready to go. I don't even really need to film this one right now, but like I said before, man, it was something that was on my mind. So a little bit about my backstory with my dad. Me and my dad always had a rocky relationship, even since we were, since I was small. He was very emotionally and mentally abusive. He never hit me. I'll give him that. We got close a few times, but he would, there's a time or two he pushed me up against a wall and stuff like that, which that I'm sure that probably counts as physical abuse as well, but more so like hitting and stuff. He never did that to me, but in a way, it's weird because almost I feel like the mental and emotional abuse was almost just as bad because it's shit that I still carry to this day, man. If I had $1 for every time that man called me worthless, I could pay my house off right now. It's just shit like that, man. Every other day was something. And the really bad thing about it is there were good times, there were good times I remember. We used to ride around and pick up like it was trash tech. It sounds so weird now. I'm saying this is some white people shit right here, to be honest. But like drawers and dressers and stuff that people would just leave outside, we would go pick up and fix them up and go back and resell them for 20, 30, 40 bucks. He didn't really need the money. He had a fine job, nothing crazy, but it's shit like that I remember that actually is like good. But then there's 3 or 4 other memories where he's like yelling at me or hiding food from me, telling me I'm fat, that I can't eat nothing because I already eat too much as it is, even though I'm like 11, 12, trying to grow. Yeah, it's tough, He my wife is mixed. She's half white, half black, and he ended up kicking me out at 16 because of that. My parents have been divorced since I was either 10 or 11. And I've been joint custody, going back and forth, sleeping on a couch at my mom's house, and then having a bed at my dad's, but my dad treated me like shit. And my dad wasn't just rude to me, so in a way that kind of makes me feel a little bit better, just because he was rude to everybody else, man. Any slur you can think of in your head right now, he said it. It doesn't matter. Again, like if I had a $1 for every time I heard the N-word, man, like it's crazy. It's insane. I think the world is hilarious. I ended up marrying a person of color, but yeah, it's kind of crazy how the world works, man. Just I became everything that he didn't want me to be. I'm married to a person of color, like I said. I put it in the introductory, but there's a picture of us right there at the Colt Stadium. Which now that I'm realizing, I have a lot of Colts stuff on this backdrop right here because I was gonna do a Colts themed YouTube channel. And I just am naturally a Colts fan, obviously, so I collected all this memorabilia. And it has absolutely nothing to do with anything. The only thing that is not Colts related I have here is this is a Make Racism Wrong Again hat. What else? Oh, I have a hat right there. That's I got my senior year. I graduated during COVID in 2020, and a bear I got on my honeymoon. I think that's it. There's a few other small things over there. There's a little golf ball my wife got me. Anyway, I'm sorry I got off topic. Yeah, I don't remember where I was. I don't remember what I was talking about now. Oh my god. I think I remember. My dad really, he really affected my relationships and stuff. Not with my wife, because me and my wife have been together for almost a decade now. But like a lot of friends and stuff, I'm always afraid to get too close to them because my thinking always was, if my dad abandoned me, then who else wouldn't, right? Which kind of played out with my best friend a little bit. Not to that extreme level necessarily, but it's too much to get into right now. I always try to give my dad some slack too because his grandfather was like, or my grandfather, I'm sorry, was like that. I'm sure his grandfather was as well. But my grandfather, his father was like that, and he was even worse than he was because my grandfather wouldn't even watch like Oprah or anything because, it was on the screen. You can probably assume what word fills in right there. It's he tried really hard to get me to be racist, man. He really did. But I shout out to my cousin Nate, man, if you ever see this, because hanging out with him all the time and all the people we grew up around were all black people, man. And they were the nicest people ever. I don't understand, man. I still don't understand to this day how people can be racist. It blows my mind. But my dad was the most racist person ever. And I think I turned out not to be, obviously, because of how much he pushed it on me. Like, he was super religious and super Christian. I'm agnostic, I don't really know what I believe right now. I'm also realizing that this video kind of just turned into a me ranting kind of thing, which maybe people like. I don't know. Maybe somebody can relate to this story. But like, my self-esteem and shit has been shit for my whole life basically. I've always been the chubbier guy, I was the kid in school that wore the husky jeans and had a little shirt on, had a little XL shirt on here or there. I had I was when I was running the pacer test, I would always get like 30-ish, like fine, but not like crazy. Yeah, I've always kind of been the same build that I am now. I had gotten into shape a little bit after my dad actually posted on Facebook once about how fat I was. I had gotten into shape for a good amount of time there. And then my anxiety and shit just killed it, which, I mean, it shouldn't be an excuse, but that's just the truth of it. But yeah, I have a Dodge Challenger outside, and I have racing stripes on it. Maybe I'll pop up a picture over here somewhere. And he like clowned the stripes. I can post a picture of that too up there somewhere. Edit that in. I'm the editor. Anyway, yeah, I just think I think it made me very mature for my age, but I don't think that's a good thing. I get that compliment a lot. Like, you're so mature for how old you are. I was getting that at 15, 16, all the way up now to where I am at 24. And I don't think that's a good thing. I think I don't want to say I wasn't a kid because my mom treated me very well. But yeah, I just think the emotional toll of what was going on there was really tough, man. I mean, there were times I'd be with my friends and he is just reaming me out, screaming at me and everything. And I just start crying. And it was super tough at the time, man, because it's like I was a kid. I was like 15, I was at the point where I wanted to try and get good, like talk back to him or whatever, but I felt like I was disrespecting him. That's the way he had raised me. It made it really tough, man. It made it super tough. And like some of my friends at the time, like I had two of my other friends over, my cousin and my friend, and he's yelling at us because we made grilled cheese sandwiches when we were hungry. We didn't have breakfast or nothing. We just made grilled cheese, and he was screaming at us, saying we were eating too much. He made him go home that night too, actually. But yeah, he had a little drawer I ended up finding where he would buy groceries and hide them from me because he didn't want me to eat everything. I mean, I was a teenager. Like, I would go in there and snack for sure, but it wasn't to the point where he had to do all that. He was just being extra, But this video really has just turned into like a me ranting video. I had notes down right here I keep looking down at, and like I'm kind of hitting the notes a little bit, but I'm just ranting right now, man. And I also think as a guy that like therapy is becoming more and more like helpful, not helpful, not the word, but accepted. Just because there's so many men that like take their own lives every year, it's really fucking sad. And in high school, I definitely thought about it a lot more. Nowadays, it's essentially non-existent. It hasn't been since I moved out when I was, 18. But Yeah, it can be tough, man. I just wish that more men would be more open. I'm trying to work my way there. I'm trying to work my way there. I keep like giving little breadcrumbs from my wife, to just try and like she doesn't understand the extent of how bad it was for me when I was a kid, I think. And she had a fairly good life. Not to say she didn't have any issues, but she had a fairly good life as well. Um yeah, like I said at the beginning, man, it's so complicated because there was good times. Like I seen a picture of me when I was a year old. I know it's like going way back, but I seen a picture of me when I was a year old, sitting in my dad's driver's seat in his car, and him taking a picture of me and said, "Skylar's sitting in Dada's car," and that shit just made me start crying. He passed away in February, and I haven't cried once since that day until I seen that picture. And when I seen that picture, it's like all the emotion just came back at me at once. And I just think sometimes that's what it takes. I have a picture right here of me and my mom hung up, something I made as a kid. And it's something I can look at every day. But if I seen a picture of me as a kid with him, it's different because before he passed away, I hadn't talked to him in 9 years. And he kicked me out. And there was a time I seen him at a carnival once, and I cussed him out. It's not my proudest moment in the world, but you can imagine just 5 years of pure emotion that you hadn't been able to get out or anything. And I just seen his face, and I just went black, man. Like I went black as in like I don't remember what happened. Want to clarify. But like yeah, my wife had to tell me what I said and everything afterwards because I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember what I said. It was crazy. I'm very good at controlling my emotions. I think because I had to, you know, regulate my house's emotions when I was a kid. So that's just a skill that I have. I'm super calm under pressure. Anytime I'm under pressure or me or my wife are in a situation that involves pressure, I'm always the one to go to. I can handle pressure really well. Um yeah, it's just something I've always been good at. I think there's good things that come from childhood trauma. Obviously, I would love to not have it, but it also made me the person who I am. So, I think a lot of people could relate to that most likely. I think the biggest issue for me personally with the trauma and everything is like obviously I'm still working through it. I probably will be for almost the rest of my life, especially when I start having kids. I think it'll be more prevalent. But a lot of the issues that I have and my relationship is phenomenal, so I don't want to like overstate this. But it's just like if my wife is leaving out the dishes or something and she keeps doing it and doing it and doing it, I don't say nothing because I don't want to be confrontational. And then when I do, it like all comes out at once and then I make it like a whole thing, and I shouldn't be like that, man. I really shouldn't, but it's really hard for me to do it just because like I think one of the small ticks that my wife pointed out to me is that if when I was a kid, if I didn't tell my dad I was getting a shower, he would yell at me. So whenever I'm home, I always tell her every time that I'm getting a shower. I mean, we only have one bed, or not one bed. We only have one bathroom, so I guess that is valid, but yeah, I think that's just one of the small things that like I wouldn't notice, but she noticed, and she's like, "You don't have to tell me you're getting a shower," and it's like, "Oh shit," it's just something that I carried on from my past. And like that's just a really minor thing, obviously, but it's just something that I noticed that like even small things like that could keep going on. I'm curious to see how I will be as a parent too, because I feel like my mom was she was strict off the start and then more laid back, where my dad was strict all the way through. So I think my mom knew what I was going through, so I think that's why she did that because they had been separated for years by then. But yeah, I feel like I'm gonna be a laid back parent just because it's like we're getting into parenting now, but being strict as a parent, I feel like doesn't raise a great kid only because they're doing it to not disappoint and or because they're scared of you. Because it's like you can like essentially bully your kid into trying to get straight A's, and then they're just gonna fucking hate you. So there's a balance there. Obviously, like I'm not gonna be like a gentle parent because like gentle parenting's fucking crazy. Like if my kid were to hit my wife, then it's like, bro, you gotta chill the fuck out. But it's like if you get a B on a test, it's like cool, whatever, that's fine. Try and get an A next time. If you get a C, then we got issues, right? But if you get a B, it's not the end of the world, man. I didn't go to college. My wife was in college, but I didn't go to college. So I mean, I was a great kid in class. I didn't get in trouble, obviously, because I was an introvert and didn't say shit. I had a couple friends here and there. I had my wife's friends or my girlfriend's friends at the time, I guess. Now she's my wife, but Outside of that, that was really it, man. Yeah, I just think that I want to become the person who my younger self would want. I want to get a tattoo on my other arm that is a I could post it up here somewhere. Whoop. That it's a mountain. Like it's like a bigger person and a smaller person walking a person down the mountain. It's kind of like the symbolism of me now walking younger me through the trenches or the valleys of life, the ups and downs of life. So I think that's gonna be a good one, man. I'm excited to get that tattoo. I'm gonna get it soon. But yeah, man. I think it made me stronger. I think that's probably with a lot of people, but it like I said earlier, I also wish I just hadn't gone through it. To be honest, I wish I wish I hadn't wondered if I was loved as a kid, right? It would have been nice to have that reassurance. And like, my parents said it. They said, "I love you, I love you." My mom, I felt it more from her, but my dad, like, he would say it, and it's just like empty. So this has been the most like ADHD ass video ever. Yeah, I ran out of camera space because I was recording in 4K and 60 FPS and didn't realize it. So now I'm in 30 FPS again and 1080p. Yeah, I don't even remember what I was saying now. Something about my dad saying I love you and me not feeling it. Yeah, that's true. Um, this video has just been a rant video essentially. This is like me and you, like a therapy session right now. If you like the video for whatever reason, I'd appreciate, a like and a sub. I don't usually ask for them, but yeah, this video, I'm not sure what it's turned into. I had a plan going into this video. Like I said, I have notes right here. And yeah, like I have my notes, it can hurt the relationships, can hurt the self-esteem, not being able to regulate emotions. I think we talked about all that. My mental health, iffy, here and there. It's been pretty good recently, but today it was pretty shitty because I'm thinking about Father's Day. Yeah, how it affects parenting potentially. And yeah, how I can turn it into strengths. That's all I put on my notes. So you ain't gotta get off the channel. You gotta get the fuck up off this video though.